Okay, so the next assignment, we're going to learn some more things in SketchUp, and to do that, we're going to make a schoolhouse. We're going to get started by clicking on the SketchUp icon, and if it asks you to choose a template, choose feet and inches, and then click Start using SketchUp. I'm going to delete our friend Steve here by clicking on him and hitting Delete. We're going to start by making a school building, and it's going to be rectangular shaped. So I'm going to start by making a rectangle, and I'm going to start it right here at the origin where green, red, and blue meet. You don't have to do that, but it at least keeps you sort of flat on the ground. So I'm going to click once, move in a direction, and I'm going to type in 50 feet, comma 100 feet. And remember, you don't click, you just hit enter, okay? And I'm going to zoom out so you can see it. It looks like a square, but again, if you orbit, you'll see that it's actually a rectangle. It's 50 feet by 100 foot school building. Alright, so now we need to push this up in the air. So I'm going to click the push-pull tool. I'm going to tap on the Option key to make sure that I have the plus sign. You may have had the plus sign on, so you're going to have to check and make sure first. But you use the Option key to turn that on and off because I need a floor and a ceiling. I don't need a hole. So I'm going to click here. I'm going to move straight up 30 feet. 30 apostrophe enter. Okay, and this is what we should get. Now, we're going to make a different style roof than we did in the doghouse example. In the doghouse example, we drew a line from the midpoint to the midpoint, and that let us make a roof peak. This time, we're going to do a different kind of roof called a parapet roof. Okay, and I'll show you how that works. So the first thing we need is the offset tool. The offset tool is right here. It's between the push-pull and the move. I'm going to click on it. I'm going to move to the middle of this rectangle that's the roof right now, and I'm going to click anywhere in the middle of that. Okay, and as I move, you see that there's a rectangular shape. Make sure it's the same rectangular shape, just bigger or smaller than the original. Okay, so sort of like this. And I'm going to want that to be indented 10 feet, set in offset 10 feet. So enter. Okay, so now I have a 10-foot offset roof, square or rectangle. So now here's a little bit of a tricky part, but it's totally doable. If you click on the move tool, what I want to do is I want to move this rectangle straight up in the air, and then I want it to stay connected to the rest of the roof. So that's going to do something called auto folding in the program. So I'm going to click in the middle of that rectangle. I'm going to start moving around. Now your rectangle may be doing what mine is, which is sort of sliding off the edge of the roof. If that's happening, tap once on your up arrow on your keyboard, and now when you move, it's forcing it to go up and down. And see that nice roof developing as a result of our movement? Okay, I want to go up in the air 10 feet. So I'm typing in 10 apostrophe enter, and then we get something like that. Awesome. So now we need a 1 foot edge on that. So we're going to use the offset tool. I'm going to click on this top rectangle, and we're going to start moving inward a little bit and type in 1 foot, enter. Alright, and then this is the parapet wall, okay, and I'm going to push that parapet wall down 3 feet, so that inside area. Okay, I'm going to click that, I'm going to move down 3 apostrophe enter for 3 feet. There we go. So now we have this school building with a different kind of a roof than what we're used to having. Okay, now to make roof overhangs this time, instead of pulling out the roof, we're going to push the walls in a little bit. Okay, I'm going to push them in 2 feet on each side. So I'm going to click on the push-pull tool. I want to make sure that we don't have a plus sign on. Hopefully you checked that up here as well. Okay, if not, you might have to Command Z and go back. Okay, and rewind the video. But I'm going to choose this wall. I'm going to click there. I'm going to start moving inward, and I'm going to type 2 feet, enter. Okay, now there is a shortcut in the program, but you have to make sure you did it correctly the first time. We would like all of these walls to be pushed in 2 feet, all 4 sides. So it will remember, the program will remember the number that you last used for the tool that you were last in. So since I'm not changing tools, I'm going from the push-pull tool to the push-pull tool again. I can hover over the wall I want to push in, and I can double-click, and it will go in exactly 2 feet like before. Now I think if I orbit around and do the same thing, it will still work. If I go to push-pull again, double-click, and double-click. Okay, so it shortens that up, right? But you might want to check and make sure that it looks right. So I'm going to orbit around it. Okay, I'm going to zoom in, zoom out. Okay, cool. So 2 feet on each side. Now we have to clean this up because if you peek underneath here, there are these lines left. Alright, so we're just going to use the eraser tool to get rid of those lines on all 4 sides. Because we're going to pull this whole thing down together, and in order to do that we need to make sure that it's all one shape. When you erase lines of 2 shapes that are standing beside each other or sitting beside each other on screen, you actually connect those shapes. Alright, so now I'm going to use the push-pull tool. I'm going to grab that up underneath the roof, that overhang. I'm going to click. I'm going to push it down 12 inches. So I'm just going to type in 12 and hit enter. Okay, so now you have a nice, better looking roof here. Okay, and I'm going to spin around to what would be the front of the building here. Okay, where the green, red, and blue sort of meet. Alright, so now it'd be nice to have a school yard. So I'm just going to grab the rectangle tool and I'm just going to make a nice big rectangular schoolyard there. Okay, it doesn't have to be measured out a particular size. Just make sure that you left yourself some room. Alright, now we're going to take the paint bucket and do a little painting. Give our siding or bricks, I'm going to do bricks along the outside of the school here. Spin around, do some more on the other side, okay, and do some roofing on the top. Slightly different kind of roof this time. Alright, I'm gonna spin around, keep doing that. Alright, so you know how to do this part from the doghouse. Alright. And I won't continue to bore you by showing you what you already know. So I'm going to spin it around to the front, although you'll finish cleaning up those extra things that need to be cleared up. Alright, colored in. Alright, so now we need a walkway going up to the school. Okay, so I'm going to click the rectangle tool and I'll start out here on the edge somewhere here and pretend that this is headed towards the front door, and I'll do that. And then we'll use the paint bucket tool again and we'll, I don't know, we'll put the walkway as some concrete maybe, and we'll do some lawn grass out here. Alright, great. So now it's looking a little bit more like a school building. Alright, so this part gets a little bit tricky. We're going to place some components in. Some components, remember, are objects other people made or groups of shapes that are made up by someone. And it's going to, I'm going to show you how to make some shortcuts here, because we're going to put windows through this whole building. Okay, we're going to put a door, and then we're going to put some windows. So there's a specific kind of door I'm going to try to get if the program will let me. So I'm going to go up to Window, and I'm going to go to Components, and we get our search box over here. And in the 3D Warehouse search, I'm going to type in EDU door. Let's see if this works. Sometimes this works and sometimes it doesn't. I'm going to hit enter. And I'm hoping to get a doorway that says school on top. So it's searching. It's a little slow. Hopefully yours is faster. It's going to search for an EDU door, okay? And actually it happens to be the first one on my search, so make sure it looks like this, okay? If it doesn't and you've scrolled through and you can't find it, you can just type in door and just try to find a flat door, alright? But I like this one because it's kind of sized out already for us. If you click on the picture and wait for it to load into your screen, now this door, I just want to show you, see how it could align with my roof? It could align flat that way, okay? It all has to do with where you're lining up when you place it. So just make sure you're careful in how you place it. And I like to zoom in and make sure that the door, there we go, is lined up with the ground, okay, like that, and click. And don't worry that the door isn't showing You notice how just the school part was showing, and then when I finally clicked, the doors showed? That will probably happen with you as well. Alright, so now we have the school door there, and it's sized nice and perfectly. So I'm just going to hit escape so that I'm not highlighting that door anymore. Okay, I'm going to go back to the components window, and I'm going to type in edu window. And hopefully it will give us two edu windows, one that is a double window and one that is a single window. So, there we go. So I'm looking for these ones. I'm going to start here with the double window down here. So I'm going to click, and I'm going to wait for it to load in, and I'm going to place this window in the top left-hand corner of the front wall of the school. And it doesn't matter exactly where. I'm going to click once, okay, and then hopefully my window panes also show up. I'm going to move this components window over by grabbing the top of it. Now, we need windows all across here, and another row here for another set of classrooms, and even some windows on the first floor, because this is like 3 stories. All right, so it would be kind of a pain to take each time and grab a window and try to line it up. So I'm going to show you 2 things that I'm going to show you at the same time, so it's a little tricky. So it's going to let you copy a window and align a window, and it could be, you could do this for anything. Okay, so this window is still highlighted, you can see, okay? I have my move tool turned on, which is what turns on when you put a component in. So it's your 4 red arrows, north, south, east, and west, okay? And I'm gonna grab the window, I'm gonna zoom in and grab it by the bottom right-hand corner, closest to the wall. Do you see that? See the little purple? It says endpoint and component. I'm gonna click there. And when I do that, it's gonna wanna move this window, but I don't really wanna move it, right? I wanna copy it. So to make copies of a component, and you can still have your move tool on, all you have to do is tap the control key, the option key, sorry. With the move tool, you tap the option key, just like you make copies of the floor and the ceiling for the doghouse. Remember when we did that? The option key gives you that plus sign, lets you move it. Now, you might want to put it right beside that, but I'm going to give you a different suggestion, okay? I'm going to have you zoom out and move all the way over to the other side, okay? And place where the last window would be. Okay, so I'm gonna click. Now, before I click, I just want to show you something else too. See how this is lining up? Yours might not be, okay? There's a little red dashed line underneath this that lets me know it's aligned. If you're not getting that red dashed line, you're just kind of moving and it's not showing up, you can tap the right arrow on your keyboard 1 time, okay? And it should lock it into place. And if it doesn't do that, just ask me for some help, okay? But I'm going to click once to place that window. Now, before I do anything else, how many windows, including the one that I just placed, how many copies of the original window do I want? I probably want 1, 2, 3, let's say 4, including the one that I have. So I'm just going to type, you don't have to worry about going anywhere on the screen or clicking anywhere. I'm just going to type /. I'm going to go down here so you can see where I'm typing, where it's showing up as I'm typing. See that? /. Think of the slash like a dividing sign. Okay. / enter, and watch what happens. He says it doesn't happen. Let me try that again. It should work just fine, except for that I think me zooming in on the bottom of my screen, which you guys don't have to do, obviously, messed me up. But that's okay. It's always good to get some practice in here. So I'm going to place the last window, click, and I'm going to do / enter. There we go, just what I wanted. So what you end up with is a row of windows that are perfect copies of each other, that are lined up and spaced out equally. It took the space between the first window and the last window and divided it up into 4s. That's what the / enter did. Okay? Now, we have to do another row underneath, and we'd like it to look exactly like this row. So it would be great to just take this window, click it, tap the option key, and move it straight down. But the problem is, you see it only grabs 1 window. Wouldn't it be great if we grabbed the whole row, right? So you can. So here's how you do it. If you click on your black arrow up here, which is what you use to select things with, I'm going to click select. I'm going to click once on this window. Now if I click on the next window, see how it turns off my selected window over here, okay? So I'm going to hold down the shift key on the keyboard, and I'm just going to select the windows, If you accidentally select something else, like the wall, okay, I'm going to do that just so you can see. See this, how it's shaded now? Don't worry, just click on the wall again with the shift key still pressed down, okay? And then you can deselect it. So if I only wanted to copy those 4 windows, I could do that. But make sure you have all 5 windows selected, okay? Now we're going to switch over to the Move tool and do our copy. So we're going to click Move. Zoom in. I'm going to grab it by that bottom right hand corner against the wall. I'm going to tap on the Option key and I'm going to move my mouse straight down. Okay, it should have a dotted blue line. Okay, if it doesn't, then you can tap the up arrow. I think will let you lock it into place that way. Okay, and just put it just above the school door sign. I'm going to click there, and we've got a nice aligned row of windows down there. Okay, and I hit escape to get out of that. Now the first floor, I want single windows, not double windows. So I'm going to go over to my components thing here and grab the single window one. And I'm going to click the picture, let it download. Okay, I'm going to come over here and we'll place it about here. Okay, and now I need to make a move copy. So I'm going to, with the window selected, I'm going to click on the Move tool. I'm going to click on the edge of the window, tap the Option key. I'm going to copy this one. Let's say we go here, make sure it's lined up on that red line. And we'll say I want 2 copies, 2/enter. See, we've got that there. And now, I probably, if I've kind of got this centered, which I didn't measure to make sure that I had it centered, but I can probably grab all 3 of these with my shift click. I go back to the select tool. Oops. Just want to make sure that got off screen there, sorry. Go to the select arrow, click on one window, hold down shift, next window, and I'm going to use my Move tool, and I'm going to move copy it by this one here. We'll do it that one. Tap my Option key, okay? And this does take some getting used to, okay? That's why I want you to practice. The way I would like you to practice is I would like you to do the other 3 walls of the building, because all of these rooms need windows. Same type of thing here. Now, the longer walls, I don't really care how many windows, you know how we did, what, 5 on the front and 6 on the bottom row. You know, maybe 7 or 9 or something would look nice on the side. That's up to you. Just make sure that it's more than, 4 or something, all right? We'll do the same thing on the back one and on this side one here. So you want to make sure you have all of those there. All right, so that lets you know a quicker way to add components to your drawing, all right? If you are only going to be doing the 3, you can stop the video now and just work on your windows. If you are interested in doing the 4, which I think is a lot of fun, hang right in here because I'm going to do the 4 right now. So save your work, File, Save, and I'm going to name it Schoolhouse. Okay, and don't forget, actually before we saved, we should have added our 3D text for our name. Okay, I'm going to zoom in, I'm going to use the scale tool, and I will scale it so you can see it. Okay, awesome. All right, so now I'll save it. Okay, so now if you want to do the 4, which I encourage you to do because it's a lot of fun, follow me to this. So I'm going to actually close this file. I'm going to do a new SketchUp file. I'm going to get rid of Steve, okay? And the first thing I want you to do is click on this thing that says Add Location, because if you've been on Google Earth before, it's a program, or Google Maps even, you've seen satellite images of different places. So people can build 3D models inside SketchUp to put on top of that map. So here's what we're going to do with your house. So I'm going to click on, and it doesn't have to be your house, it can be a building that you know, that's a pretty simple building. Don't do something really complex like the Eiffel Tower or the White House or something that looks sort of house-like. So I'm going to use the high school. So I'm going to click on Add Location. It's going to ask me, it's going to give me a pop-up window, and it's going to ask me to type in an address. So Mountain Valley High School's address is 79, yes, okay. I'm going to click Enter an address or intersection. I'm going to type in 799 Hancock Street, Rumford, Maine. I'm going to hit search. And there on our screen, as soon as it loads, is Mountain Valley High School. Now, I want to make sure I get the whole building in there. Actually, I'm making this hard on myself. I think I want to do just this wing of the building up here. Okay? Mr. Bailey's room this way. All right, so I'm going to click this button up here that says Select Region. Okay? And that's why it's helpful to have a building that's just kind of rectangular. Okay? So I'm only going to cinch this up until I can get just the part that I want of Mountain Valley High School. Alright, just that first wing of the school. Alright, and then I'm going to click Grab. Alright, and add a location has been created here, and then watch. It has actually put it on my SketchUp window. So if I orbit up above, you will see the building that is 799 Hancock Street, which is Mountain Valley High School. Now, I would like to draw a rectangle to make this work, but you can see that the screen is a little sort of tilted compared to, it's not really aligned well. So there's a button for that. So if you don't have it on already, you need your toolbar over here. So you're gonna go to View, Tool Palettes, Large Tool Set, okay? Click there. Now, click on this button here beside your uppercase A, 3D dimensional A, whatever, third dimensional A. There's a thing that says axes, okay? And it's gonna let you kind of move your origin point to where you want it to be. So pick a corner of your building, of your house, okay? So I'm gonna click this corner, okay? And then it says pick a point for the red axis. So I want it to be the opposite side of the ground over here. So I'm picking all the ground points. I'm gonna click there. And then it says pick a part for the green axis. So now I want to go up to this corner. Okay. And it's going to be clicked there. And then if you look, you have realigned the axes so that you can draw on them yourself. Okay. So now it's just a matter of drawing a rectangle for the shape of your building. Okay. And pulling it up. Okay, I don't know how tall the high school is. I'm just gonna guess. Okay, and the high school's roof is kind of like the doghouse roof, and I picked that on purpose because it's a little easier to work with. Okay, and I'm gonna move it straight up in the air and do the blue axis. Okay, so now I have a building kind of shaped like the high school building, and I can take my paint bucket and I could put the extra features on it. I could bring in a school mascot, something like that. So for the 4, I'm not taking you through all the steps, okay, because the 4 needs to be independently using the skills that you have already learned. All right, so for the 4, take your own house, draw on top of your yard, okay, and this, I wished I'd actually grabbed a slightly larger image so you could see the school grounds. So if you have to redo that, I'm sorry, but it would look much better if you have your yard there, if you have a yard to work with, okay? And make it look like your house. Make it look like your actual house. And if you could, for me, take a screenshot of your house on Google Maps and your building, or it doesn't have to be your house. It can be whatever building you want, so that I can get a comparison of where is what your thing looks like on satellite and what it looks like in 3D. That's what I'm looking for, okay? And don't label on your stuff where your address is and that kind of stuff. We don't need to be giving out personal information to people online, all right? So I don't need any of that information. I just want to see how well you did compared to your actual building. And if you want to put your own car in the yard, you can do that, that kind of stuff, all right? So I hope you've had fun with the 4 for this assignment.